Hello and welcome to using a stick to learning how to use your punch better. What we're going to do today is a series of drills in order to make your fist larger in awareness, which will gravitate into hitting deeper, stronger, and eventually also swifter. Every drill will be shown from two variations. The first one is extremely simple. You hold a stick or a sword that's not sharp, like so, in your hand, keeping this plane straight, this one, and this one. So there is a continuation of movement throughout your arm, from the back of the elbow to the edge. From here, you will move forward and back, but without breaking your wrist alignment, and thus you'll be creating a much greater awareness in your elbow, shoulder, chest and shoulder blade muscles and tendons. So from here you keep on complete parallel. However, you can maneuver the height a little bit up and down in order to facilitate for a straight movement. I'll show the same from the side, from the opposite. From here, as you move, if you break your wrist, you break the line of the movement and you're unaware of it. Instead, you keep the movement straight and completely without any torque, with any efficiency. This forces you to pay attention to the placement and movement of your shoulder and shoulder blade. Once you've done this, do the same with your palm facing up. And here let me show how to grasp. Instead of placing your palm and holding on, which creates excess tension, instead bring your hand so your hand sort of folds the fingers on it. That way you will not create an excess twist or an excess tension in your palm, in your muscles, and that will facilitate to the difference between clenched fist and a relaxed fist, which can resonate differently and also avoid breaking of yourself and other things that you don't want to break. So from here you bring your hand to it and you repeat the same way. So you are able to move without tension. After you've done those, do the same on this angle. From here, keep your wrist calm and aware. Just forward and back, and you can also do this going up and down, turn from side to side, depending on where you can move and how much time you have to practice. Otherwise, just do the most basic, it will most likely be enough. After you've done the forward and backwards, now we'll do a slight movement of twist. Now when you twist here, I want you to avoid torque in any kind. In no way are you twisting and then grasping it to hold. So start by just moving here, and here I want you to pay attention to the two edges of the elbow. When you move in this way and you are able to maintain and control your tension and the two sides, it will create awareness. Thus, when you do come to hit, you're able to lock into the movement, get into the point where you can sink in. And you will have a sinking fist instead of a pushing fist or trying flailing fist in a way. You're not throwing yourself, instead you are sending it with awareness and compassion to yourself, because the hand can break very easily. After you've done this with just the movement of your forearm, let's add liberation of the location of the elbow. So from here, I'll show from two angles. I am also slightly moving or letting my elbow move from side to side, a little bit of up and down, and you can see that the movement is much greater here. This will also allow, after this, to a continuation of sinking in, sinking within. I'll show this from another angle. Just the forearm with relaxation, sinking of elbow. 1, Once this is done, you add the liberation of the shoulder. So from here, forearm, elbow, shoulder. Forearm, elbow, shoulder, all moving in one. And this creates much greater movement, and again without any torque yet. Because once you add torque into it, you increase your own tension. When you do that, you lose all your movement with reality. You just move against it. And then you break. Like so, again with both sides. Once this is done with comfort, let's add some movement to it. So moving forward and back, afterwards just also move to the side and so on. So from here I'm starting with just forearm, forward and back. If you have something that's made of glass near you, don't break it. I'll show from the other angle, from here, like so, just forearm. Now let's add the movement of the elbow, and you have a much greater movement. And you can also gather with it. If you are actually holding a stick and something comes towards you, you can gather it and work with it instead of trying to push and pull it, which can also lead the person in. But if you are able to move side to side as well, this will coordinate and move your fist in a different way. Now let's add the movement of your shoulder as well. And again, no torque at this point. This is also very healthy for your joints. If you can move this way, this will really help. Now we've done forward and back, now side to side. As I move from here, I move from side to side, keeping, as you can see here, I'm not turning, see, I'm keeping it on a certain plane in my awareness. And then I can move like so, so, creating a bit of an 8 figure, but also just allowing things to move. Once this is done, we'll go into a different way of throwing your awareness rounder and rounder around the fist. We'll start with your stick or sword on the ground. No pushing is needed. You just move from here. Do circles, any shapes that you like. From here, and you're moving around a static point. Now let's remove that static point. The stick is in the air, held just lightly enough to need, and then you move forward and back. Forward and back. And again, no torque yet, no torque is needed. Now, once this is done, you go in circles, and you see the continuation of the movement from your fist outward. Then you can cast your fist around without breaking. So contact, and then instead of pressure to maintain a level, you release and release. Then you are able to move much further inside despite any resistance or tension in your contact. I'll show it an angle now, and I'm moving in movement in a form where I'm moving first the upper part of the elbow, then the lower part of the elbow, and if my grip is not too tense, I will create a pendulum movement outside of myself, and that can be transferred when you give a fist. When you cast it and move it around, which is the same movement as we did before with the stick, you'll be able to move in a way that is continuous. And when you make contact, you'll just continue to move on and on. Now, once you've done this, now comes the torque or tension. And you learn to create tension without letting it stay or hold in within yourself. Let's first start with a simple forward and back. So here I am holding it. This is just like the throwing of a punch in some martial arts. Where you throw, you hold on to the tension. Or as you show in many popular Japanese martial arts, where you go and you throw from the hip, go like so, even the blocking is done in a form that is like so. And while if you are in the dojo and you are fighting someone who is clean and nice and will not poke your eye out, and you block and you feel well, however, then when you block and on the other side there is a bit of steel or something that is sharp, you just break yourself with your own tension. Doesn't matter if you have kime or not. However, if from here you're moving, you are never resisting what is, and then you're less dead. Not completely, but less dead. Now, I have moved forward and back with tension on purpose. But keep breathing, which gives me the feeling of tension, of holding and stopping things. What I want you to do is to pay attention to your hips in a different way. When you feel the tension of the stoppage, simply move the rest of your body. So, like so. It will create a movement in your body, like so. So forward, when you tense to stop the stick from moving forward with the torque. Thus, you will be able to maintain moving linearly, if need be, without getting the tension in within. So from here, you are able to move. And then you will not break down your tissue. You'll be able to do this without tensioning within. And then you can do this for much longer than just 40-45 seconds without reaching that fatigue. Now, let us move side to side. Tension, 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 tension. And then relaxation between the hips and the spine. Tension, tension, like so. Then instead of breaking yourself within a block, which I would not recommend anyway, when something comes and you want to block it, you see that you get hit too. But if from here you are gathering, it's a completely different movement. Now, after we've done this, let us throw the fist into a multi-planar way, which just means that we're taking a stroll with the projection of our movement. So from here, you need a loose movement, relaxing of your hips, your spine as you go along, and then you can change your plane, like so, for example. So from this hold, I will not be breaking glass in my house. What I will be doing is releasing my frame all completely into the fist. So the stick, sword, whatever you want to hold will be taken up, but without any excess tension in. Like so. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And as you can see, this is more of a, as many people say, a sword dance. This is not for the actual movement of fencing. However, this will create within you a movement that cannot be stopped by tensing against something else, because that is not something that you will be doing. As you do the movements, give yourself time to always come back to the most basic of all things, just letting go of self and being aware of yourself. After that, everything else will come much faster. Thank you from Sharon Friedman.